Hey, this is Karen with Over the Artsy Moon, and today we're painting a fun little stencil painting with a little bit of a background difference. Well, actually, we'll keep it pretty similar, but I might switch it with the red on this side and navy on this side because it's a cute little kitty cat. Okay, so lots of fun and really easy to do. Let me just set this over here. I'm an affiliate for Essentials, this is for the Stencil Smith. And we have Cece here. She is hanging out for a minute or two with us. I'm sure she'll go away in a second, but that was good timing, right, Cece? All right. She's not being super friendly right now. Okay, she just wants to do her thing. So let me make myself small again here, and we'll get to painting. Okay, so to do the background, so it's a two-part stencil, actually three. So we have the basic, then we have overlay 1, overlay 2. It makes it so easy to do. All right, so you're going to grab a 3/4 inch flat brush and then just grab some red paint. And we're going to come over here in the corner, but I'm going to grab that burnt umber as well. So this red is called Tuscan Red, I believe. Tuscan, let me just make sure. Yep, Tuscan Red. And we'll give this a pretty good coat. If we need to go back over part of it, we can do that. And then I'll just keep on grabbing some more brown. I'm going to pull this down a bit more. And I'm working just very quickly here. We're not going to take too much time with this. We're going to put the brown more in the middle, but we'll accent it a little bit when we do our stencil so that our dog or your cat will stand out. And these are really nice stencils. They are made with like a mylar plastic. And I think I have a little bit too much red there. So let me rinse off my brush real quick. And I'm just going to take the brown, the burnt umber here. All right, so if you need to, you can always go back over those colors. Then just go to the burnt umber for the middle part here. I'm going to just feather this, dry off my brush a bit. If it has too much paint on it, or if it's, you see a lot of those white marks, you might need to go over it, but we'll pull off some and then we'll see what happens. All right, I'm throwing it everywhere here. Looks like I have a little glop of it. So let me take that off of there. So I hope you're having fun. This would be a nice project for your Memorial Day, for 4th of July, just some of your decor. This canvas is an 8 by 10, and I used an extra small. And I'll put the number for the stencil in the description for you, so you'll be able to go ahead and get that if you desire. All right, so this one is Deep Midnight Blue. I'm going to start in the bottom corner here. And then it's still wet. This burnt umber is still wet, so I'm just working that in as well. Aren't these beautiful colors together? It's like more of a navy rather than an ultramarine, so it works well. I think Tuscan Red works well with even the ultramarine too, but that goes more purple. But you see I haven't rinsed off my brush, so I'm getting like little bits of the red in here, which make it very pretty too. All right, so you could do these more as like a diagonal. You could have them as stripes where you just blend over. So maybe we'll do a little bit more because I think I'm going to need a second coat on a couple of spots. So let me dry this off and then we will do a quick second layer. It's still a little tacky now. I have fingerprints on it. You could totally distress this and do it however you'd like. I tried that first. I thought it would be kind of fun to distress it, but then it was taking away from the design. So I'll show you how to get the look. the offset stencil so you can get that black in the background and then the pop of white on top. Just get a little more of the navy on here. Some more burnt umber. Pour a little more of that. That one's almost done. And I'll grab a little bit of gold here for the middle. This is Folk Art Multi-Surface Metallic, what does it say? Metallic 14 karat gold. A little more of this. It's still wet, so it will let me blend. And then we'll go back to that red. Ooh, that's a nice pop of red there. So if you want to tone that down, just grab some of the brown, the burnt umber. But if you like the bright red, you can keep it nice and bright. Don't have to mute it. I do like a bit of a vintage look for the Patriotic stuff. It is kind of pretty. But, you know, a pop of brightness here and there is nice too. Okay, so let's dry this one more time. And then you're going to want to have something to tape on your stencil onto your canvas. And I do have a little book underneath, so it's keeping this will stay solid when I am doing the stenciling, which really helps. I think I do want it to be a little brighter here with that red. So let me just get a little more red here. Just a pop of red. That helps a little bit. And then if I want to make this a little brighter blue on this side, just make sure that red's out so that you can get a true blue instead of a purple. Not much difference with the blue, but definitely with the red. Okay, we're good. Okay, so let's go ahead and lay this down here. And I'm just going to line it up at the top and then just tape it on there. And it's basically centered. There's a little bit of a a little bit of an extra there at the end, but it's okay. A little piece hanging over is what I'm trying to say. All right, so now we're going to use stencil brushes. So I recommend strongly that you don't wet them before you use them. And then just grab something that will work. We're going to start with the black. And I'm going to just put it on my brush, and then I've got a rag, or you can use a paper towel, and then you want to offload part of it for the first round. Okay, so this big space, I could probably use more and it wouldn't be an issue. But once I get to those little spots, I definitely then do want to have it be a little bit less paint on the brush so that it doesn't bleed under the stencil. If it does end up bleeding, you can always do a check. So far, so good. You can do a check, and then you can always just paint over with the original color. But when you have a background like this one, it would be kind of hard to go back and try to match it up and do what you did before. So offload or go to your biggest spot first to use up some of that paint. And then you can go very lightly and then do a couple layers or 3 layers, whatever you think you need. Okay, we're just going to do a light layer there. I'm going to go back over here. Get the edges of the sunglasses. And you can also, for this part, I'll do this first. I like to do the little swishing and then I come back and do some tapping. But you can just check it and make sure everything's looking good and solidly coated. All right, I'm just making sure, going through all the spots. Since we have the tape there, it really keeps it in place and you don't have to worry about it moving too much and going out of the the spot you have it. Now this looks like it's a little crooked. I'm just going to straighten it up for myself here. Okay. So very lightly, I'm going to go to a big spot, use up some of this paint, and try to hold it so the stencil is flat. All right, there's not much paint on here, so I'm just coming around my first layer, little circles. Okay, more paint, offload a little bit. All right, let's see. So I'm starting to get some paint coverage on there. I'm gonna definitely still offload a little bit here. I've got some stars to do. So I moved it slightly. I hope that's okay. Yeah, looks okay. Like I said, not the end of the world if you did end up moving it, but definitely easier not to have to go back over it with paint and all that. All right, let me get a little more paint on my palette here. Offload. And then what we'll do is just take care of the bridges. Those are those little spots. When there's the plastic stencil like this, you have the little gaps where it keeps those, like the middle of the R in, and keeps the middle of the A in place. So they make little bridges. So you can easily fix that by just using a liner brush. So we'll use that and I'll show you how. Super easy to do. And the trick with that is to water down your paint slightly, and then your paintbrush will glide along the spot. So that is that. I think I'm good there. I'm going to put this to soak, and let me come back with my paint colors. Okay, let me take my liner brush, get that wet, and just add a little bit of water in there, and then you're going to pull and twist your brush. And then you can just come in here, and if there's a little gap, you just fill it in. Okay, so you can see the S is all filled in. Here's the A. I can just pull across there. I can fill in the top part of the A. I'm going to bring this down just so I can have a little more control over it. And then right here with the Y, there's a little gap there with the S or the R, and now on the S. So we definitely need that white overlay offset color on here so that these parts will stand out. Okay, so rinse that out and just put that there for right now. All right, let's do our next layer of our kitty cat. And what we're going to do is just get some more of the tape. So you see here it says overlay 1. There's going to be, this is going to go right in the middle of those sunglasses. Okay, so you can just line it up there if it was straight there before. So if you put it up to the top of the black sunglasses and then go down just a little bit, and then you can kind of measure out so on the other side to side as well. In the end, nobody's going to really notice, so just do your best. Okay, let's get, I have a few stencil brushes here. I will just grab one. Okay, there's a few. This is a fun thing to do. Then we can just get into that red. And let me just check one thing here. Oh, it's okay. I'll just do it the same way as the puppy. Yeah, because the red stripes are on this side. Okay, red and white. So once again, go ahead in the middle of the stencil, and then when you get to the edge, you can can tap like this. Since I have quite a bit of paint, I don't want to do too much swirling because I feel like it'll go under and bleed. But when I'm tapping it like this, I should be okay. I can just double check though and make sure it's all good. Yep, looks good. Okay, and then I'm just going to set this aside. I'm going to use it right away, so I don't want to put it in the water because that just, these boarhead bristles really hold the paint, and so kind of would defeat the purpose of, you know, having it like a dry brush if you put it in there and then used it again. So if you've got a lot of paint, you can offload a little bit to get those edges. Okay, if my paint is starting to be less on the brush, I can very lightly go around and then do the tapping. And I will just do a quick blow dry here. And then let's go ahead and grab the red one. So fill up this one now, just to get a little brighter color. Okay, that's good. And I'm going to throw this in the water. I'm done with that. And now my navy. All right, done with the navy. There we go, Kitty. Looking adorable, right? All right, let's do this layover now. I'm gonna take this back and then I'm gonna line it up. Maybe I should dry this real quick just so I don't smush it. No smushing allowed. If you're taking the time to do it, we might as well do it right. All right, so I'm gonna line this up again with the letters down here. Okay, and then I'm going to go up slightly and over slightly. So you will see other colors under there. So I'd see the red, the gold, brown, and then the navy here. So just line it up again. And then you're going to take a new stencil brush, dip it into the white, offload. So I really got it into my bristles. I'm going to offload. And then I can come back over here. Very lightly first, okay? You don't want to have it go under the stencil and bleed. You can come and do another layer. So I don't want to go up onto where the cat is up there. I'm just going to lightly come down. I do love this brush. This is from the Stencil Smith too. So if you use my code and you need some stencil brushes, they have really nice ones. All right, I kind of moved it. I think I'm okay. Just got to get it lined up. All right, now I'm going to hold on a little more tightly. It's better to do fewer layers, or sorry, more layers that have less paint on them. And I'll get some more paint and do our second layer here. I think you're going to like it. Let me take a peek. Yeah, it's looking good. I always say that once you learn the methods of a certain type of painting, whether it's the step-by-step painting method I do in my painting membership or the rules about stenciling, then it's fun. It's when you're learning and you can't get everything to work out. You're just not, you're trying and it's not working out for you, that it's not fun. And that's when people give up. So I always hope you make sure you're subscribing to my channel, and I've got a lot of painting tips and I've got other stenciling projects on here for you as well. All right, I think I covered everything. All right, that's looking pretty good. I might just give it a little tap still. Just gotta line that up. The tape came off, so now I've got to be more careful here. All right, just a little more of the white paint, and I'm just gonna, I should get some paint that's gonna actually, or tape that's actually gonna stay in place. Let's put this over here, and I think that's pretty good. All right, I'll hold it on this side. All right, the final tapping, we'll give it a nice bright white. I'm going to keep this brush out of the water and use it to do a little bit of blending where the cat's head is. We'll also do our bridges with the white. Offload. There we go. All right, so you can see there's a little bit of black. It looks like I need to touch up slightly right there, but so I had a little bit of bleed going on, but it's okay. So let me get that little bit fixed up, just a little bit of black right there. And I can look if there's any other spots. We're pretty good. Okay. Now I'm going to use my white to do my bridges. Oh, that's got a little bit of black in it. My water's a little bit dirty, so let me squeeze out that paint. We'll try again. Pull and twist. I smeared it. Okay, hold on. Let me grab a baby wipe. This is my go-to, right, for all those little, just give it a little swipe and you should be good. All right. You don't have to do the bridges, but I kind of like how it looks when it's solid letters. Okay. We'll see how that dries if I need to go over it a little bit more, but I think we're okay for now. All right, let's do our sunglasses. So for this one, I'm gonna line this up again the best I can with the red and the blue. And so that's what you're looking for, is that red and blue color. Just go ahead and tape that down. And now we're going to use the white. Offload, tap off, go lightly. Lightly, very lightly, like a feather. And then you can do some tapping. So basically, we're pretty much done, but we can still go in and just do a little bit of brightening up in that middle spot. So I'm actually going to grab a very small brush. Let me see what my smallest one is. Yeah, maybe this one. This one I think I'll get a little more control with. And we're going to take some of the gold. And you could make it any color you wanted, but I'm just going to start with the gold just to lighten it up here. So I'm just going to come in between the areas here. You could add white to it, whatever you want to do. But we'll just get it a little bit different than the background. A little highlight there where the nose is. Ears. Okay, so cute. All right, I think that's good. And then it's kind of cute. Maybe I should add a little bit of white just to make his forehead pop a bit. Too much. We'll have some of that. And then we'll just blend this in a bit. I don't want it to, I'm just going to use my finger a little bit here. Or use the edge of the brush. If I have to re-stencil those parts, I can fairly easily. Yep. So maybe I will just do that real quick after I get this. I just want him to stand out, so I think I will go over those and then it won't look so weird. But a little bit more gold, I think. Yeah, we'll just make him a soft color here. But it's hard to know exactly where you're going to be stenciling beforehand. So I guess you could always draw it out with a pencil or something, and then you could go over that part. Just trace on the inside of the stencil. That would work. But this is easy enough to fix. I think I'm pulling it when it's dry, so when it's wet still. So I'm just gonna dry that off and then I'll go over this part again. Okay, now that's much whiter up there, so let me get some of the gold. And I'll just tap that in there. I kind of like having it a bit dark next to the sunglasses so it looks like a shadow. We're really overthinking this, right? But those little details are what makes it special and what makes it fun to do. So I'm just leaving that dark brown right next to the sunglasses, and we'll just come in here, add a little highlight up there. Okay, we'll dry this off. I'm just going to use this for the black, so I'll just wipe that off on my rag. I just can't help but laugh at this one. It's so cute. All right, let's see, right about here, I think. Let's see, I'll line these guys up at the bottom. There, I think that's good. And I'm just gonna go over the ears. The bridge on the sunglasses. And a little nose and mouth. There we go. No, see, she can't. She's been trying to get into my, well, she did. She jumped into the paint palette the other day and got it all over her back paws. And then I had to go and, you know, she just hated me having to take it off the baby wipe first. But I'm like, oh man, this is just not a good thing here, because she was so upset about it. And then she just wants to do it again. So I did bleed a little bit under here. So I'm just going to fix these, a couple of these stars. The end of the world. And I can always go back and re-stencil those. That one looks worse now. It's okay. I will fix it once it's dry. I'm going to give these guys a little highlight on the cat, and then we should be good to go. And this would be a fun little project to do. You could have people pick dogs or cats. Oh, I've got to do a little bit of distressing on the edge too. Or you don't have to. You could keep it just simple like that, but I think the distressing looks good. I ended up with a little bit lighter there, so I could come in with a bit of red and white there. We'll see. Let me grab some white on here, pull and twist my brush. Just going to come up here and do a little curve there. Pull and twist your brush. Do a little curve at the top, a curve in the ear. Do a little curve on the bridge, on the top of the sunglasses. Just a little curve there. I don't know if it makes sense to fill that in, but and then I just do a little curve here. Whoops, not exactly a curve. Let me grab a baby wipe. I love baby wipes. They are so handy. Easy peasy fix, right? Curve and curve. Fix up the star. Oh no, I meant to grab white. Sorry. All right, well, I'll just wait and let that dry, and then I'll come back to it. And you probably don't notice it, but you know, I will notice it. It'll bother me. Oh, you know what? I want to do the whiskers too. Just a little bit. So this brush is, I don't know if I mentioned it, it is a 5/0, and you can use any liner brush, any liner, even a detail brush if you're comfortable with it. We can grab palette knife, and let's start with a little bit of that red. I'll just put a little bit on here so it'll make it pop a bit. But it is quite a bit lighter, so I can take a bit of white in there. I don't know, that's going to change it completely, so I'm going to actually wipe that off. If I take it and just use that and wipe it in there like that with the baby wipe, that kind of gives me a distressed look, so I'm not having to do like the whole thing. So that's what I'm going to tell you to do if yours is too dark like mine is. So if you want it a little lighter, just grab a baby wipe, and then you can do the same thing with a little bit of that blue, and then take a smidge of white. Okay, and then you can move that in there if you'd like. If it's you know, too messy for you, don't feel like you have to do it. It didn't change that much, but I'll show you what I'm going to do with the black. So I'm putting it on the bottom of my palette knife, and I'm just going to come along the edge here. Okay, and then on the corners, and just pull it down a bit. It's you know, a little bit experimental. You don't always know what's going to happen. You try it out. If it's too much paint, like this seems like a lot here, I can scrape some off. I could wipe some off. I could kind of pull off a little bit and then just let it be. kind of prefer less than that, so I might pull off a little bit of that black right there. I kind of like my baby wipe, I guess, but let it do what it wants to do, and if you don't like it, then you grab a baby wipe so you have options. Okay, I'm going to come along the edge here, just giving it a little extra oomph. Okay, I'm going to wipe that off here and come in with a little bit of red on top of this. Soften that up a bit. Just pull that red down. There, I put more black on. Let's get more red on here. One way or another, we're going to like this. All right, I'm going to take some navy over here. I didn't do that originally, but I want it to kind of go together. Okay, then let's take some gold. Okay, maybe a little less. I want to do the same kind of scraping thing. And it might be pulling up the black, but you can wipe that off and grab more gold. I'm holding it awkwardly, so I'm not going to try to control it too much. Gold's a little easier to scrape off. So if you're not sure if you like this look, try the gold, and then if you don't like it, you can always scrape it off. Wipe it a bit, and then just pull this over or down. All right, kind of cute. All right, so we have our little cat, we have our little dog. Which is your favorite? Do you have a favorite? I'm not sure I like that white mouth. Let me go ahead and fill that in with the black. You try things and then you don't like them. It's so easy to switch, right? Right, and I will just fix up that one star. You could always just stencil it too. Okay, there we go. Happy painting, everybody, and let me know if you decide to paint this as well. We would love to see it. Okay, have a great day and happy painting.